Hello, my name is Sarah Kelly, and this is my cultural diversity speech. I have 46 first cousins, all but 4 of whom are older than me. I have attended 17 weddings in my life, and 1 as a bridesmaid. I know a lot about weddings, but it wasn't until recently that I realized I only know what my Irish American family knows. We have many personal traditions and certain details that we always follow, which are part of our heritage and culture as a family, one of Irish American descent. All cultures place unique meanings behind their traditions and events. Weddings, for example, are a universal event, yet each culture brings into it its own practices and ceremony. To prepare for this speech, I interviewed someone who has firsthand experience of a traditional small-town Italian wedding, and I will compare and contrast that to my own experience of my family's Irish American weddings. My Italian wedding expert's name is Catherine Paparella, a second-generation Italian American who frequently visits her family that still live in Italy and has done so for the majority of her life. Catherine is very familiar with various Italian customs and practices, and she has attended multiple weddings in the small town of Vitellozzo, Italy. According to her, an Italian wedding day starts as early as 7 in the morning, and villagers will go to the homes of the families of the bride and groom to congratulate them on the marriage. Soon the ceremony starts at around 11 a.m. After the ceremony and some significant celebration, sometimes including a car parade through the town streets, wedding guests then gather for the reception, and dinner starts around 4 p.m. Now this lavish, multi-course dinner can last up to 7 hours. Finally, dancing and celebration start sometime around midnight and can go as late as 6 in the morning. Many of the older guests leave earlier in the night, and the bride and groom are typically accompanied by just the closest family and friends at the end of the celebration. An Irish American wedding is a much shorter affair, but has many similarities as well. The mornings are filled with extravagance and excitement to some degree. The bridal party typically wears matching outfits to get ready in, and the bride gives her bridesmaids gifts, usually matching one another and something that incorporates into the wedding, like hair clips or the same shade of lipstick. The groomsmen's morning is normally comprised of smoking cigars, drinking fancy and expensive alcohol, and making sure no one cut themselves shaving. Wedding ceremonies start around 2 p.m., followed by pictures of the couple with the bridal party and with family. Guests then gather for the reception, and dinner starts around 5 p.m. Following the best man and maid of honor speeches, my paternal grandfather sits in the middle of the dance floor as we all gather around. He recites from memory Irish limericks and poems to roaring applause, followed immediately by dancing. The rest of the night is almost solely dancing, with performances here and there, renditions of familiar songs, always sung by the same cast of characters. The reception lasts until around midnight, much earlier than an Italian wedding. However, it is a tradition in my family for some of the younger cousins and friends to go out to a bar following the reception, similar to how friends and family stay behind later with the couple at an Italian wedding. As we can see, there are some aspects of these two types of weddings that differ from one another, but there are a few things that make these two traditions very similar. In both an Italian and an Irish American wedding, religion is at the center of the event. These two types of weddings follow traditional Roman Catholicism, which involves pre-cana, a pre-marriage course that the couple must complete together before the wedding. They also require the wedding to be held during a mass, meaning that along with marriage rites, it will include liturgy of the word, which are the readings, and liturgy of the Eucharist, which includes Holy Communion. While there are plenty of cultural differences between these two groups, they are and will always be linked by their religion. As I said, weddings are universal. Anyone, anywhere can see a bride and groom and understand what's going on. It's one of the longest lasting traditions we have as humans, and also one of the most interesting and culturally significant traditions we have. We've seen how these two different cultures have significant differences in their wedding practices, like the timeline of the event and community involvement. But they share interesting cultural similarities as well, including religion and strong family ties. Each culture brings into this tradition of marriage and weddings its own meanings and customs, which makes their weddings more personal and significant for all those present.